Hello, everybody. Welcome back into our second live stream. Let me get my image down. Here we are back in the Kansas Jayhawks off-season number 2 now. As you can see, haven't simulated quite into the off-season. I wanted to do like we did last time and just see a little bit of the statistics, and you guys know everything that we usually see. So let me get my screen set up here, and let me pull this over. If you guys can hear me fine, just let me know in the chat. I have it right there on my screen, so I should be able to see everybody that says or comments anything in there. So hey, how's everybody doing? It's been a pretty decent Saturday night. Pretty good overall. If there's any audio issues or anything with my video, let me know. Like I said, just send a little chat in the top or in the comments or the live chat, whatever it's called, and I'll get to it. So let me know. All right, thank you for letting me know it sounds good. What's up, everybody? Welcome into the live stream. I think last time we kind of just jumped right into going straight and looking at all of the people graduating, but we'll do that later anyway, so I don't really see a reason to get into getting into the seniors or anything, considering we have a whole section of that in the off season. I keep saying for whatever reason, so you'll just have to go with that. But let's go ahead and look at the statistics for now. Conrad Hawley obviously injured most of the season. Let me know what you guys think about him, but he could be our starter next year, day one, I think. 124 on 187, 1,500 yards, basically 1,600, 9 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He did have a few games there, though, where he would throw multiple interceptions at a time. So you got to kind of take the 10 interceptions with a grain of salt, because I think he had a game in there where he threw maybe like 3 interceptions in one game. So, I mean, if you take that away, that's 7. So 9 and 7's not too bad. Jason Bean, he'll be gone. Sad to see him go, but at the same time, he was kind of just meh for us overall. 163 for 264, 2,217 yards. Did have 11 touchdowns, but he also had 20 interceptions. Just not great overall for Jason Bean. Definitely compared to last year. If we can see his stats from last year, I think he played better. Yeah, he played much better last year. 20 touchdowns as to compared to 14 interceptions. So he really took a step back this year. Obviously, not a chance for him to take any more steps forward because he's going to be gone. He's graduating. No matter what, he's not going to transfer anything. He's graduating because they didn't have fifth-year seniors or anything like that back in NCAA 14. Ben Easter's another freshman, redshirt freshman, though. He is the backup for Conrad Hawley and Jason Bean, obviously. He only played in a few games. He threw 13 passes, completed 8 of them, 102 yards and 2 interceptions. He went in a few times, and he just wasn't ready. I think he has potential there. Just being a redshirt freshman, no matter what, he has potential to develop into a good quarterback, I'd say, or a quality starting quarterback, but just not ready right now. The running game, Velt and Gardner 2 yards away from 1,000 yards. You know he's got to be hurting for that. 286 attempts, only averaged 3.4 yards a carry, but he did have 16 touchdowns. Compared to last year, it was down a lot. He ran it more, got less yards. He got less yards per carry, less yards per game. 2 more touchdowns, though, but his longest run last year was 74 compared to 35 this year. So just much like Jason Bean, just a big step back as opposed or compared to their production last year. He is a senior as well, so he will be gone. Thank you for all your time here, Velt and Gardner. You've been really good throughout these 2 seasons we've played so far. Backing him up, though, we've got the next man up, Devin Neal. 37 attempts, 133 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3.5 yards per carry. Jason Bean had a good running season, 66 for 132 and 2 touchdowns. Surprised he didn't have more than the 2 touchdowns there, because he was running it a lot when we were really getting bad offensively. Hawley should definitely get the start since he's the current starter. If he does poorly or doesn't seem to be pushing the team to wins, I'd say, yeah, I pretty much agree with that, Mr. Graves. I don't think he has really much competition. I mean, Ben Easters, we'll have to see once we get into the progression stage. I don't think Ben Easters is really going to come into the progression stage and jump up too much. Conrad Hawley, really the only competition he has is Maurice Butler, who's redshirt right now, so he'll be a freshman redshirt next year. So, I mean, if he comes in at around an 80, 81 overall, then I kind of would have to take that into consideration. But like you said, Hawley got us through this season and into a bowl game and winning a bowl game, so he kind of goes into the next season with that edge. And our running back position, honestly, like, we'll go back to that. Daniel Hishaw Jr., 12 for 53 and a touchdown. Conrad Hawley's there, not really to run, but 24 for 39, 2 touchdowns. Okay, yardage for a quarterback. Stephen Mcbride, just the 1 run this season. And we did have another running back, I believe, but I don't know if he played at all this season. But I'm pretty confident in this running game, even with Velt and Gardner going out. I mean, you've got Devin Neal, you've got Daniel Hishaw Jr., and then we have another guy that's around a 77 overall, I believe. So we're pretty good on that position here. And receiving-wise, we had a great season. I mean, Trevor Wilson, 60 catches, 660 yards, and 4 touchdowns. A little curse there in the yardage and the receiving parts. But he had himself a great season. Luke Grimm, though, 53 catches, over 1,000 yards, only 4 touchdowns, but a 75-yard long. He averaged 78 yards per game, 267 yards after catch. Luke Grimm and Conrad Hawley have another season, or whoever's that quarterback has another season with Luke Grimm, and he's only going to get better. He's already a 90 overall, so he's going to jump up to probably around 93, 94, and he is undoubtedly going to be our weapon next year to get us through the season. Just compared to last year, he really stepped it up. Last year, 38 catches, 811 yards. He did have more touchdowns last year, but he averaged less overall on everything. So just compared to everybody else, just a big step up in the right direction for Luke Grimm. And I'm so glad to have another season with him. Unlike, Conrad or Jason Bean or Velt and Gardner, we don't have a chance with them. We can make Luke Grimm even better going into this next season. Behind him was Trevor Cardell with 46 catches, 568 yards, and a touchdown. Obviously, he suffered that injury, I believe, in that, I think it was the Week 12 or Week 11 matchup against Texas Tech. He'll come back and he'll be the starting tight end, I believe. We have a few good tight ends coming in, but none of them are probably really going to touch on anything that Trevor Cardell has done. James Smith as well is the junior. He'll be a senior receiver, 82 overall, and I think James Smith can have a better season next year. He did get a lot of touchdowns. I mean, 5 touchdowns on 43 catches is really good. 818 yards is good as well, but I expected a little more out of him. Honestly, I expected him to be better than Luke Grimm, if I'm going to be honest, just because he's faster technically, statistics-wise, and he's 6'6". So that's a good height for a receiver overall, but he didn't have the greatest start to his season, but he really came on late in the year. Following him up, we've got Stephen Mcbride, who I believe I promised to allow him to play in around 9 games, and we definitely delivered on that because he had 36 catches, 407 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Velt and Gardner, 22, 185, no touchdowns. Not really known as a receiving back throughout his career here, but he will be missed nonetheless. Will Huggins, the tight end, converted to fullback, 13 of 58 and 2 touchdowns. Wouldn't be surprised if he transfers, but honestly, he took one for the team for us, so I wouldn't complain too much. Tristan Golightly got a little bit of playing time later in the season. He's a junior turning into a senior, so we're going to be losing a lot of receivers next year. But 9 receptions, 87 yards. He has some potential there, as well as Mason Fairchild will be gone. He had some great moments last season with those 39 catches for 500 yards and the touchdown, but Trevor Cardell really was just better than him in every way, shape, and form, so he really didn't have a place in the offense. And down here was just a few guys that really didn't play too much receiving-wise. Devin Neal, the backup running back, and Lawrence Arnold. Wasn't too much going on there. Blocking statistics aren't too important, but we are losing our best offensive lineman overall. Mike Nowitzki, senior, redshirt. He's been here for 5 years. 96 overall. It's going to hurt our O-line a lot to see him go. But let's get into the defensive side of things. And I do want to ask you guys before we go on, I want you to make a prediction right now if you can. Who are you most excited for at the receiving position? I mean, Luke Grimm would be an obvious answer, but out of guys like James Smith, Stephen McBride, I would even say Trevor Cardell's in there for sure with Trevor Wilson. Any one of them can become the next big receiver here at Kansas. And I just want to see your guys' input. Let me know who you think is going to be poised to be that next big starting receiver. And as we get into the defensive side of things, Kenny Logan Jr. finally going to be leaving. He's had 2 amazing seasons. 78 tackles last year. He had 60 this year. 3 tackles for loss last year. 5 this year. And it... looks like I may have got disconnected there for just a second. I think my OBS disconnected for a few seconds there. Should be caught up now. Let me know if it's caught up. Let's see if it is. And I believe it's caught up now. Let me know if it's not caught up, but okay, yeah, it's back now. It went down for a few seconds there. I'm not sure. It said OBS lost connection. But yeah, Luke Grimm obviously is the best choice to be the overall best receiver. I don't know, really. It really just depends on the game we're playing because sometimes guys get open, sometimes they don't. Anyways, back to the defense. Romello Dotson, glad to have him back. 78 overall for right now. He had 61 tackles, 4 assisted, 11 tackles for loss. That's huge. He had a sack, interception. He only got 8 yards on it, but I mean, does it really matter? 4 deflections. A great season for him when he didn't really play too much last year. Jacoby Bryant as well as another guy coming back. 53 tackles, 2 for loss, no sacks, but he had an interception. And he did have 1 fumble recovery. Gavin Potter will be gone. He's played amazing for us these few seasons. And I'm just looking, he won the Bednarik Award last year, 23 best linebacker, or 2013 best linebacker last year as well. He did go down in production, 66 tackles last year to 50 this year. 15 TFLs last year, 11 this year, 6 assisted, 4 sacks last year, 2 sacks this year, and an interception in both seasons. That defensive touchdown last year, I don't know if you guys remember it. It was in the second game of the season, I believe. It was either second or third. We were in overtime against FCS Midwest. Dude took the pick 6 to the house to win the game. That was one of the craziest games we've ever had on this series so far. But he will be gone, unfortunately. Jean-Quay Lewis, sophomore free safety. Room to improve for him. 49 tackles, 47 solo is very impressive. He had 3 tackles for loss, no sacks, no interceptions. Nothing crazy for a 76 overall, but, I mean, it's better than nothing. Rich Miller, once again, another senior that's going to be leaving us. He had such a big impact this year. I don't know if he played too much yet. He didn't really play too much in his junior year. Glad he stuck around. 45 tackles, 3 sacks, 11 tackles for loss. I believe he probably he had 2 forced fumbles, so he was our hammer on defense. Welcome to the live stream. I believe we just had someone else join in, so nice to see you here. Go ahead and say hey in the comments if you'd like. Then we had Deuce Mayberry, I'm just talking about the defensive players and going around and look at the statistics if you're just now joining us. Deuce Mayberry, though, Jr., he'll be back. He got burnt a lot on the season, but he ended up with 38 tackles, 1 TFL, 2 interceptions. So, I mean, you can't blame him too much. He had an okay season. He's going to be our best cornerback undoubtedly next year, so that's kind of worrying, but we have guys around him that can play well. Donovan Gaines, 36 tackles, 6 for a loss. He did have 3 sacks, so if we're sending this guy on a corner blitz, I mean, he's going to get there. He didn't have any interceptions, unfortunately, but he did have 1 forced fumble and 1 deflection, so it's pretty good for a 76 overall sophomore cornerback. Then we have Cornell Wheeler, sophomore middle linebacker. I expect him, honestly, him and Taiwan Berryhill to take over that Rich Miller and Gavin Potter spot there. Wheeler had 31 tackles, 5 for loss, and 1 sack. He didn't have an interception, didn't have anything too crazy, 1 forced fumble. Just a good season for him, mostly like other guys on the defense. Following him up, Taiwan Berryhill, 80 overall. Not the greatest overall season for him. I believe he was better last year. No, he was pretty much the exact same last year. 31 tackles, 10 for loss, 3 sacks, 1 interception. He probably had a forced fumble there, yeah. Decent season for him. Basically what he was last year. Getting down to these last few guys, Keenan Caldwell is a guy I am super excited to see get more playing time. Sophomore, becoming a junior, 79 overall right now. He ended with 28 tackles, 3 assisted, 15 for a loss, and look at that. 10 sacks on the season for a 79 overall sophomore. He is only going to get better. No interceptions or anything, obviously. He's a defensive lineman. You're not really expecting that, but man, he just had a great season. What's up, Morgan? Welcome to the live stream. Thank you for joining us. Caleb Taylor is another guy, though. Shares a name with me, but he had 24 tackles, 15 for loss, and 9 sacks. I mean, come on. You can't really teach that. I mean, a 74 overall, he's just going to get better. Steven Parker as well, 23 tackles, 9 for loss, and 7 sacks. I mean, these guys are all going to play great next year. I have no doubt about it. They're all coming back unless they transfer. And it's so great to be able to have these guys back. Getting down here to a few guys that really haven't played too much on the defensive side of the ball. Or actually, this might be the final guy that plays on the defensive side of the ball. We've got Cameron Dabney, freshman, cornerback, redshirted, 12 tackles, 11 solo. I mean, not really anything too special. He did have the 1 interception. I don't remember what game exactly that was. He's a freshman. He played okay, and I'm sure he'll be back. We didn't really have Nick Channels graduating. He only played in, it looks like, 1 game, maybe 3 tackles. 1 assisted, and yeah, that looks like about it as far as the defensive side of the ball goes. All these guys were on like kick returns and stuff, and here is definitely the MVP of the season right here. Jacob Borsi. Okay, if we can look, okay, 13 of 17 this year. Last year he was 8 of 18, so that puts him at a 76 field goal percentage this year. Last year, he had 44% field goal percentage. This guy has improved much more than any player on the team. And I mean, if we're going to predict who the MVP is of the season, it's got to be him. He won us a few games, put us in a position to win a few games. Like, he extended his longest field goal by 10 yards this year. He had 12 more touchbacks as well this year. This guy, Jacob Borsi, just played so well this year compared to last year. And I mean, punting-wise, Reese Vernon's always been pretty good. 29 attempts only in the season, which is good for us. But, I mean, we did throw a lot of interceptions, but 1,000 yards. Good job for him. Trevor Wilson return kicks for the most part, punts and kick returns. 19, 6, 28, no touchdowns. And that was really it for kick returns. Did have the 1 touchdown for a punt return against Texas Tech, I believe. 32 for 482 and a touchdown. So nothing crazy there. And if you guys had to say who the MVP of the season was, who would you think it is? I mean, I'm talking overall. Rushing, passing, receiving, defensive side of the ball. I guess if I had to go with someone other than, like I said, Jacob Borsi, I'm probably going with, I think I'm going to have to go with Keenan Caldwell. I mean, he's a defensive tackle. It's not very glamorous, but 28 tackles and 15 of those are for a loss and 10 of those are sacks. I mean, you've got to be happy with that kind of performance. And team-wise, we'll see where we stand overall in total offensive yards. We are pretty far down there. Unfortunately, it doesn't really rank us by numbers, but yeah, we're pretty far down there. I mean, we have some of the better, I believe we probably have one of the top passing offenses. But yeah, we have the second ranked passing yards, but we're way down there when it comes to, yeah, we're almost dead last when it comes to rushing yards. Points per game, not even close. Passing touchdowns, not even close. Rushing touchdowns, we might be up there. Yeah, we're in the top 25 when it comes to rushing touchdowns. And that's our team statistics. Or we can actually look at the defense, too. I forgot the defense existed for a second there. Let's see where our team is at. We can find them. Total offensive yards allowed. We are fairly high, I'll say. I mean, we have one of the better rushing defenses in the country, I believe. Yeah, we actually have the #1 rushing defense in the country. Passing-wise, we're up there. Yeah, we're in the top 10, definitely. Jeez. We didn't really allow a lot of points. I mean, we allowed a lot, but not as much as it could have been. Had a good bit of sacks. We were top 5 when it comes to sacks. I mean, Jason Bean for MVP. I don't know about that one. I mean, 11 touchdowns, 20 interceptions ain't really a good recipe for success. But he did good last year. I'll give him that. We'll give him the MVP, the Nickelodeon Valuable Player. Let's give him that one. Maybe he can take Mitch Trubisky's job next year. But defensively, great season overall. We're up there in sacks. We probably aren't really close in fumbles, but hey, I mean, we're not really a turnover-oriented defense. We just stop you by getting sacks, it seems like. And yeah, interceptions, we are nowhere near the top. Way down there. Let's see. I really want to just go through everything before we get to simulating into the actual off-season. We'll go through real quick and we'll just give a quick recap of the season. Just see a couple crazy games and crazy moments. We actually lost this first game of the season. It's crazy to look back on it. I mean, Kansas, we finished 7-6. I don't know why I said Kansas like that, but Nebraska finished 5-7, and they dominated us pretty good early in this game. They took a 17-7 lead. We tried to get that comeback. Actually, they took a 24-7 lead. We scored 2 late touchdowns. Just wasn't enough to go over the hump. I mean, honestly, I think this game was more of a bit of a learning curve for us. We weren't used to opening the season against a power opponent. Jason Bean, this was before we knew his season was going to go down the drain. 27-39, 253, and 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He didn't have a great game, I will admit, but it doesn't help when Velton Gardner's only averaging 3.5 yards per carry. 1 touchdown. Not a great game when you look back on it. Then we had the bye week. Then we really hit our stride, I feel like, in the 3 best games of the season. Beat Charlotte 24-17. Charlotte's not a great team by any means, but if you look last year, we struggled to beat them a lot more than 24-17. I think we beat them on a last-second field goal. I mean, Conrad Hawley, this was the first game he took over. Jason Bean started 5 of 9, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Hawley comes in 15 of 21, 174, 2 touchdowns, and interception. I mean, how did we not start him after that? Then we come in, barely beat a bad Missouri team who finished 3-9. Connor Bazelak had himself a game. Jason Bean, I gave him the start again, I believe. And I gave Conrad Hawley the start. Comes in 8 of 16, 69 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And he gets hurt, I believe. And he was out. You guys remember he was out until like week 11 with a leg injury. But Jason Bean, 12 of 18, 226, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He did just enough to keep us in the game in a situation where maybe we could come back and win if our defense makes a play. And, I mean, he did just that, I guess. Houston, we dominated. They were 0 for 12 on the season. Jason Bean had himself the greatest game of all time. 14 of 21, 269, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. So man finished with 11 touchdowns, and he had 4 of them in one game. So that means he had 7 touchdowns the rest of the season. Come on, Jason, you got to do better than that. Velton had himself a game. Daniel Hishaw Jr. had a great game. Devin Neal had a great game. We just had a great game overall there. We put up 65. And I remember thinking going into this game, you guys can let me know what you thought when we were going into this game. But after this 3-win stretch, we were sitting at 3-1. Honestly, I thought we were going to go straight into a bowl game. I thought we'd win the next few games. We'd clinch it immediately. And then we kind of got into a little bit more of a realistic flow, I would say, as far as teams we get to play. We hit a wall here against a bad West Virginia team, and I wouldn't even say they really won this game. I'd say we lost it more than anything. I mean, Jason Bean, 10 of 25, 158, 5 interceptions. That's what I'm talking about. He had this game where he had 5 of his 20 interceptions. It was probably the worst game I've ever played or seen in an NCAA game. Ben Easters came in, wasn't ready. I didn't really blame him at all for that. This game just really, I think, broke our chances at first of making a bowl game, because you come in and it's an away game. It's a tough atmosphere out there, and I believe, are they in Williamsburg or something like that? I'm not sure where they are, but in West Virginia, tough away game. You come in on a high tail, 3 straight wins, and I think we were just too relaxed on both sides of the ball. Come in, we get embarrassed pretty bad. Then we come back against a good Oklahoma, or I'd even say a great Oklahoma team. Not the best ever, but a good Oklahoma team. We lose by 17. I mean, not a bad score at all against a team like that. And, I mean, you get your hopes up maybe a little bit more after not losing too bad against them. But then, you come in and barely beat SMU. That's just not a good recipe for success. And, I mean, Jason Bean, he held the ball to our team. That's really all we could have asked him to do. But Velton Gardner had 24 rushes on 16 attempts. Just terrible, terrible play. We only won this game because of our defense. Then you come back, you lose to TCU, which you're expected to lose. I mean, they're number 8 team in the country for a reason. Beat Texas. That was probably the biggest win of the season, I will say. I mean, I never really had my doubts of beating Kansas State. I knew we could do it, but this Texas game, I was really worried about. And, I mean, I'm glad we did it, obviously, because we would go on to lose to Oklahoma State and Texas Tech. So we wouldn't have been in a bowl game if we lose that Texas game. And, I mean, Texas Tech embarrassed us. We really scored a lot of those points late in the game. Oklahoma State embarrassed us. We tried to come back late in the game, couldn't do it. We embarrassed Kansas State, thankfully. And, yeah, we could have been so much better this season if you look at the beginning of the year. But, I mean, yeah, we were playing weak opponents. You're going to look good against weak opponents. At the end of the day, hey, we finished in a bowl game, and we won that bowl game by a lot. And we'll look at who won the national championship and who won the bowl games before we get into our off-season simulation. And let's see if I can look over here. Let's go to bowl season, and let's see. We'll go down to the important bowl games. Ended up being a SEC national championship. Georgia takes down Florida 31-28. That looks familiar. Miami and Western Kentucky that's not an important one. Clemson loses to UCF by 1 point. I know some of y'all out there watching are going to love that. TCU dominates Kentucky in the Cotton Bowl. Sugar Bowl between USC and UNLV, as USC gets dominated pretty good there. Texas Tech beats up on Temple 50-31. Washington beats Iowa 24-17. Alabama takes on Michigan and dominates, as Michigan always loses in their bowl games. And that's really the last important game, I'd say. Overall, a very productive season too. I'm excited to get into this offseason. We finished, let's see, 5th in the conference on our division. Let's see where we finished overall. 8th overall, so not a bad overall season. We were above Baylor, K-State, SMU, and Houston, obviously. Finished 4-5 in conference, 7-6 overall, and let's go ahead, and I think it's time we get into the simulations now. We didn't have any awards this year. End of the season, and let me know. You guys excited? I'm pretty doggone excited to get into this offseason. Welcome to the live stream. I see someone new just joined us. We are finally simulating into the offseason. You know me, I talk a lot, so I just finished looking over the roster, and thankfully we are not going to get fired. As you can see, we go from a 5-7 or 5-7 record to now a 7-6 record, and we have 100% safety on our contract. Overall record so far 12-13. Versus rivals, we are 2-0, but versus the top 25, we are 2-5. Not a great track record against the top 25 so far, but I mean, if you look at the years before us, 1-11, 2-10, 3-9, 5-7. I mean, you got to really keep us here, don't you? If we're having somewhat or making bowl games and having success. And here we are, coaching carousel. Let's see. Nick Saban has retired. And I'm interested to see who they are going to hire. Let's see. I'm not going to look at this too much because I have no interest in getting or looking at this. But they hire their defensive coordinator, Doug Belk. That's an interesting one. Pittsburgh is looking for a head coach. And they're going to take the head coach from Miami. Yeah, I should become Alabama's new head coach. They really want me over there. That would make a lot of sense. I think, 7-6 at Kansas would correlate to probably like a solid 12-0 at Alabama. I think that would be a good season at Alabama. Pittsburgh, they get their guy Pete Golding from Miami, Ohio. I was thinking the U was signing that guy. Josh Heupel was fired from Tennessee, which is crazy to see after he had such a great season in real life. Marcus Arroyo is their guy there, Miami, Ohio. Had their coach taken away, and they are going to get Ohio State's defensive coordinator. Yeah, I think I should. So after I do this Kansas series, Mr. Graves, I think I'll go in and I think I'll rebuild Alabama. I mean, they really need a lot of help, I think. So I'll have to go in. I'll take over from Nick Saban. I know he's been struggling the last few years to get much or any wins, really. And I think I'll take over for him. And Shane Beamer was fired. It's actually ironic that they fired him, but I'm interested to see who they get. Hate that they fired Shane Beamer in this reality, but you can't really control it too much. And I wonder if they'd hire Shane Beamer in Virginia Tech. That would make sense. Yeah, they went 4-8 this last year, so I guess they really wanted to have a successful career, but I know most of us in this chat aren't going to like the fact that Shane Beamer's hired. Hey, South Carolina's offering me a job. Unfortunately, I am not going to be able to take that. I would love to take that, but they will not be able to have me. Oh, that's pulling on me a little bit. If this wasn't a YouTube series, I'd honestly probably jump to that Carolina job, but sorry, I'm going to have to stay with my current contract. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to take that. And they get the offensive coordinator from Georgia. I can't take that. This is a Kansas series. Yeah, I wanted to take it, honestly. If I'm going to be honest, I wanted it. But, we'll go ahead and simulate to the next stage. And we'll look at the overall new coaches. That's ironic that out of every team, they would offer me a job. Considering how bad this team has been and how bad their team has been. All right, we were good this year. I'll give us credit. We were over 500. But hey, of course I'm wearing my Carolina shirt when they offer it. Yeah, sorry, man. We couldn't take it. You knew we couldn't take it. It wasn't meant to be. Maybe later. Once we get a natty at Kansas, we'll head over to South Carolina. Don't quote me on that, though. Final coaching changes, we did see pretty much all the important ones. Alabama had PJ Fleck, apparently. Oh, no, they're bringing in PJ Fleck to be a coordinator. Brian O'Brien. Bill O'Brien left. They lose Nick Saban. Anything too interesting in the Big 12 is really where I'm worried about. Let's see. We really only care about head coaching jobs, I guess. Houston brings in a new coach, Dan Lanning, who has never played or coached a game as a head coach. They went 0-12, though, so, I mean, do you really blame them? Kansas State brings in or re-signs their guy, Lincoln Riley, ironically, re-signs at Oklahoma. Tim Harris comes in to coach for SMU after their guy, old coach, was fired. Gary Patterson remains at TCU. And Butch Jones coming in to coach West Virginia. You guys remember Butch Jones from Tennessee, Florida, all those teams. He had some interesting seasons there. And we do get one guy drafted, Mike Nowitzki, 5th round pick for 96 overall center. I'll take that. Jason Bean's gone. Velton Gardner is gone. Kenny Logan Jr. is gone. Rich Miller is gone. Gavin Potter is gone. Mason Fairchild is gone. Nick Channel and Colin Grunard. Gonna miss all these guys a ton, but I think we can definitely... no, I don't want to export my draft class, please. I don't play Madden 25 anymore, unfortunately. Draft results, we did see that. Let's see anybody go high overall. John Mechie leaves Alabama in the first round, as well as Devin Neal and Christian Harris. A nice draft there for them. Yeah, it's real surprising that Jason Bean didn't get drafted. I expected them to take him number 1 overall, honestly. With how great his season was, you guys saw his statistics. I mean, that's a MVP caliber quarterback right there you're talking about. Clemson gets Justin Ross in the first round. Jordan McFadden. Anybody else? Andrew Booth Jr. is down there. Just doing a quick look around most of the bigger schools. Brenton Cox goes first round for Florida. Florida State has Amari Gaynor in the second round. Georgia should have a few first. Jamari Salyer, Jordan Davis, and Tyke Smith in the first round, as well as Nakobe Dean. Second round linebacker there. Surprising he fell to the second. Iowa, Tyler Goodson goes in that second round. Breece Hall, I believe he's leaving this year, so Breece Hall is gone. No longer have to play Breece Hall. That is a great thing to hear. Xavier Hutchinson as well. He lit us up in our matchup last season. Kansas State doesn't have anybody. Kentucky has 2 guys. Christopher Rodriguez in the 4th round. LSU has Derek Stingley and a few other guys in this draft. Really anybody else too interesting? Miami has a few guys go. Michigan, nobody from Michigan. That's crazy. Quavaris Crouch in the 3rd round for Michigan State. Missouri has nobody go. NC State has a guy, Akeem Akwanwu, in the 1st round, as well as Peyton Wilson, linebacker, in the 1st round. Nebraska has nobody go. Nevada has their quarterback, Carson Strong, in the 2nd round. North Carolina, Sam Howell, 99 overall. 1st round quarterback. You guys have been talking about that all off season so far. Is he going to get drafted in the 1st round or not? I don't think so, but hey, in NCAA, he's a 99 overall, so I'd take him. Garrett Wilson for the Buckeyes here, as well as CJ Stroud all the way down in the 6th, because you guys know Ohio State never produces good NFL quarterbacks. Brian Asamoah in the 2nd round, as well as Kennedy Brooks. He's a good guy to not have to face again. Spencer Sanders, thank the Lord, is finally gone. And Oklahoma State's looking to fall off, maybe. Maybe we can take their place. Kayvon Thibodeau, 99 overall, leaving Oregon in the 1st round. Penn State has a few guys go. Pittsburgh and Marquise Williams part ways as he gets drafted. David Bell, I'm just trying to run through these real quick. I was going to say real quick. Anybody real interesting? South Carolina. Hey, Kevin Harris, first round. Maybe I should have went there to coach. Zach Pickens goes in the 4th. Anybody interesting? Oh, yeah, Matt Corral. He might have got drafted last year, though. There's a possibility he left early. And I think you can. I think sometimes players leave early in this game, I believe. Even though, honestly, it looks like only the seniors leave. But maybe Matt Corral didn't get drafted. I thought he did last year, maybe. But maybe that was wrong, I guess. A few guys down here. Kyle Phillips for UCLA. USC had Drake Jackson, Drake London, and Keaton Slovis as their top 3 picks. Utah, Clark Phillips and Sami Moala. Utah State, nobody. Vanderbilt, 1 guy. Good for Vanderbilt there. Virginia had 1 guy. Virginia Tech had 2 guys. And that's really going to wrap it up. And let me see real quick for you viewers out there. Let's see. South Alabama. Did Jake Bentley get drafted? He did not. Jalen Tolbert is the only guy drafted. Transfer requests. We do not get anybody. Not surprising. I didn't really expect to get anybody. Welcome back to the live stream, whoever just joined us. Great to have you back. Or if your first time in here, great to have you joining us for the first time. We are finally getting into the off-season recruiting. I made a few upgrades. And you guys know this was a stressful process when it came to recruiting in the offseason last live stream. It was crazy. Yeah, Jake Bentley didn't get drafted. He'll have to, I love, you guys that know me know I love my, he'll have to resort to becoming a chef. I guess they can call him Bake Gently. I love making that joke, so I had to take it there. As you can see, we actually have 1,500 extra points for this offseason. And, I mean, we have to get some of these guys. If you're looking at it, I mean, if we look at our needs, really, what do we need? We definitely need a guard. And, I mean, offensively, we don't need anything, per se. But I think we have to go around. So, let's go and look at this. I mean, we've got to give this guy at least, I would say, 1,500. I mean, we need the guard to come here no matter what. And it's going to take a while to get everything situated. But we'll go through. And, I mean, Larry Johnson would be massive. But I don't really need him too much. I'll give him 1,500 as well. And then we'll give bonus points as they come. Larry Johnson is there. Willie Allen is another guy that I would like to give 1,500 to. For right now, we're going to upgrade their recruiting in a second. This guy, don't really need him too much. Yeah, we already got him. Why is it trying to recruit him? I don't need him too much, so I'll just throw a good 800 towards Derek Clark. Tight ends, we got all 3 of them. Tackles, we got him. Guards, nobody too interesting besides Franklin Holmes. But, I mean, we have... Yeah, we're just going to go after Franklin Holmes and hope we get him. 2,000, I think 2,000 will get him. Yeah, I think that's a good amount. Dane Lewis, we got. Defensive tackles, Maurice Johnson committed, and Dennis Davis did not commit yet, but I will throw him a solid 850 probably. Outside linebacker, we are pretty set there, but I'm gonna go back through, and if I need him, I'll come back to him. Middle linebacker, we're good. Free safety, we are good. And this is where it really comes down to if we want to go after these guys. Because, I mean, Sean Johnson, I've got to get him. He's a 79 overall athlete. I don't know what position he's going to play, but I'm going to give him a solid 3,000, I think. Let's go 3,750 and hope it sticks. Maybe we'll go back down to 3,500. Or we'll just go back, we'll go to 3,250 for Sean Johnson. So that leaves us with a little bit of space to maybe let's throw 250 more on Larry Johnson. And we'll go down here, and Willie Allen we'll throw 250 more on. And that should leave us with just enough to scout out or give all this stuff to Michael Smith, which should be good. Yeah, we give him a little over 1,000. And let's go ahead and look in at it. I mean, Kevin Weeks, we don't need at all. 68 overall quarterback isn't worth it. Let's see. Sean Johnson getting 3,250. I mean, Willie Allen, 1,700. Larry Johnson, 1,700. Franklin Holmes, 2,000. Anybody else down here? Derek Clark's getting 800. Michael Smith, 1,000. Dennis Davis. I might take a little bit off of Dennis Davis. Let me know what you guys think about what we have so far. Your input definitely helps a lot. But I'm going to take a little bit off of Dennis Davis. And I'm going to take these, put him down just to an even 1,000 just to see if we can get him. And who else was I going to go after? Lee Pope. I guess I'll just invest these points into Lee Pope. You can never have too much depth at, those linebacking positions. And I just hope this is enough to actually get him to commit. I don't know if it is. And I mean, if we miss out on Sean Johnson, I mean, I'm going to be pretty devastated. We'll go down to 700 on Derek Clark, considering we don't need him. And we'll go back up as far as we can. Another 100 for Sean Johnson. Welcome back in, whoever just joined us. Great to see you guys here. We are finally recruiting. And it's pretty stressful, as you guys can see. You guys think this is a good amount to give him? 3,350. It's a lot of points, but I really hope he comes over here. He'll be coming from Ohio, so that's a great thing to see. 91 speed, 86 acceleration. He's not a defensive player at all. I guess he's probably going to be a receiver. So, I mean, he doesn't have great ball carrier vision, but his catching is good. It's spectacular. He's got to be a receiver or extremely fast tight end. All right, I think I'm going to keep it how it is. 3,350 for him, 1,750 for Willie Allen, 1,750 for Larry Johnson, 2,000 for Franklin Holmes, and we'll go down here, 450 for Lee Pope, 700 for Derek Clark, 1,000 for Michael Smith, and 500 for Dennis Davis. If we do not get any of these guys, or if we can only get one of them, honestly, we need the guard the most because our offensive line has been pretty pitiful across this season. And the moment of truth here. I don't know if he's going to commit. I'm really nervous. We need him to commit. I guess it's got to take forever to tease us. I'm trying to see our name pop up. I saw Kansas pop up real quick. I saw us pop up again. Sean Johnson. And Larry and Willie. Let's go. We get all three of those guys. We get Dennis Davis. We get Lee Pope, Derek Clark, and Jonathan Williams, who I don't even think we recruited. Alex Williams, come on over here for some depth. That is probably the greatest recruiting class we could have put together this offseason. We got a top 25 prospect. That is massive. Signing day. 6 scholarships left over, but I mean, who cares? Who cares? Franklin Holmes, you can go to Missouri. Michael Mack, you can get off of our board. We don't need you guys. Donta Fowler going to U State. I mean, sure. Kansas State, Tim Stevenson. I mean, come on now. Why would you go to K-State when we just whooped them? CJ Temple, Albert Cox. Just trying to get our overall recruiting board together. Yeah, that is a massive win. I mean, this might set us up for, I'd say, like an 8-9 win season. Let's go through and see everybody we got at each position. So at quarterback, we got Larry Johnson coming in, a 74 overall out of Pennsylvania. Following him, Willie Allen from Colorado, 74 overall as well. Both receivers we wanted really bad came in, Lauren Bullock and Derek Clark. All three tight ends we wanted came in over here. Bryson Gay, Ryan Hart and Kevin Johnson. I was about to say Kevin Hart, the comedian, yeah. I don't think he'd be a very good tight end. Daryl Fuller at the tackle position. We brought in Alex Williams, so we didn't get the guy we wanted at the guard position. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that. Center, we got Dane Lewis. Defensive tackle-wise, we got Dennis Davis, Maurice Johnson, and yeah, they all look like completely realistic people, Mr. Graves. I mean, these are guys that you would definitely see out there playing football. And the names, I love the names too. Willie Allen is going to be a legend. Lee Pope, Calvin Lane, and Ross Rushings. Middle linebacker, we got Jay Williams, Chris Mosley, and Ryan Harris. Then you go down here, and we got one athlete. We didn't get the other guy, but that's all right. Sean Johnson, 79 overall athlete. That is huge for this team going forward. Where did we finish overall? We finished with the 17th ranked recruiting class. Man, that's massive. Anybody surprising up here, honestly? Pittsburgh in the top 10 or top 15. They finished at 12. Nebraska at 14 after a 5-7 season. I mean, that's you do you, Nebraska. Like I said, we were at 17. NC State's up here. Navy's up here after finishing 2-10 last year. Some surprising names up here along with ourselves. A great turnaround on recruiting class, especially compared to last year. Yeah, Mr. Graves, they look like they could have played in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies as teenagers in high school with their pictures. Position changes. We have one guy that we have to change, which would be Sean Johnson. Let's go in. See anybody overall. Maurice Butler so far is higher overall than any other positions he can play that we would use him at. Nah, he's pretty terrible at everything but being a quarterback. Here was, okay, we had Amari Pesic-Hickson, and we brought in Willie Allen. We also had Phil Holmes from last year. I don't think there's really anything too big to decide here besides where is Sean Johnson going to go? 80 overall receiver, 73 tight end. He's not a defensive-minded player at all. So he's got to be a running back or a receiver. And, I mean, let's look at the positions, really. You've got Luke Grimm, you've got James Smith, you've got Tristan Golightly, Stephen McBride stayed again. I think he's got to be a receiver because look at this. We're going to be losing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to be losing 5 receivers next year. And I mean, he's definitely going to get redshirted this year. But, I mean, coming in, he's got to be a receiver, I think. Yeah, he's for sure a receiver. Let me know where you think we should put him. But, I mean, got to be a receiver in my opinion because of how many people we're losing. And I think that's where we're going to put him. Not fullback. 80 overall receiver is pretty good for a freshman, I must say. He'll fit in nicely there as we redshirt him. And he's got a 91 speed with a 86 acceleration. Yeah, let's go with that. We'll stick him in at receiver, and let's go to training. Getting through this offseason pretty quick now as we are very close to entering our 3rd season as the head coach of the Kansas Jayhawks. Position changes are over. Now we get to the training. This is where it could get really big. I'm not going to look at first overall. Maurice Butler does jump in front of Conrad Hawley by 2 solid points. He's faster. He's got slightly worse awareness. A little bit better when it comes to running, obviously. Throwing statistics, we'll have to see as we get there. He has a stronger arm by a good bit, but he's only slightly less accurate. That's a tough decision to make. We'll have to get there when the road comes. Just off of looking at this, who do you guys think should start? I mean, Maurice Butler, honestly, kind of looking like he's going to take that job. We'll have a little bit of an off-season battle, I guess, but Conrad Hawley and Maurice Butler are going to battle it out for that starting position. He could be our first 80 overall quarterback, which would be insane. Running backs, though, Devin Neal jumps up to an 85, as well as Daniel Hishaw and Amari Pesic-Hickson to an 84, which is huge. Phil Holmes hits 73 in his first season not being redshirted. Fullbacks, anybody important? I mean, Will Huggins, 84 overall. Kind of feel bad for him because he kind of got thrown under the bus at that tight end position because he wasn't going to get much playing time because we had so many good tight ends. And now, honestly, we don't have anybody there besides Trevor Cardell, but that's all right. We'll leave him there. Luke Grimm takes a big leap up to a 94. Tristan Golightly now comes in as the second best receiver. Interesting there. He's a senior. So is Stephen Mcbride, 87 overall. James Smith, 86. Trevor Wilson kind of doesn't really move that much, 85. Lawrence Arnold, 81. Donnell Harris, 77. And Majik Rector, I feel bad for him. He hasn't really jumped too much. He sits at a 75. Interesting there as well. I say that about so much of this. But I did not expect Tristan Golightly, Stephen Mcbride, and James Smith to all jump over Trevor Wilson. That's a little crazy. Tight end Trevor Cardell goes up 6. Great to see. I was about to say David Stern. That's the old NBA commissioner. DeKendrick Stearns up to a 78, as well as Corey Robinson and Isaac Williams. Jack Werner up to an 81. David Lewis and Jeremy Seymour both jump up into the early or low 70s, 73 and 71. Maj Reed Adams up to an 80. Right tackle would be huge. Bryce Cabaladu or something like that up to an 81. And Michael Ford Jr. up to a 78 there. Left end, you've got Caleb Taylor up to a 79 along with Patrick White and Barrett Watts jumping up a few. Barrett Watts, a freshman from last year we redshirted. Steven Parker, that's what I love to see, up to an 88 overall. Demarion Alexander behind him, 79. And Joshua Shaw, freshman from last year, up to a 71. Keenan Caldwell hits 84, and he's got one more year to improve. Zach Flynn hits 69, and Brad Duckett only a 55. Hopefully he never has to see the field. Linebackers or outside linebackers, you've got Krishawn Brown with an 84 overall. Cornell Wheeler hits 84, and Nate Smith hits 72. We brought him in last year, I remember. Taiwan Berryhill right outside linebacker at 85. Trey Staley 78, and Alonzo Persons at a 77. Cornerback position, Deuce Mayberry hits 88 overall. Jacoby Bryant 86. Romello Dotson 81, and Donovan Gaines 81. So defense is looking very, very good as far as progression. John Quay Lewis goes up 5. Edwin White Schultz, I forgot you were here. You played a lot more last season than you ever did in the next season. Yeah, he didn't play at all last season. I shouldn't say last season. He played a lot better in the first season than he did last season. Kickers, Jacob Borsi up to an 88, and Reese Vernon up to an 87. All right. I've asked a few questions. Who do you guys think took the biggest jump or I should say the most important jump? Obviously, we know who took the biggest jump. It was a +6 Trevor Cardell or a guy like Stephen Mcbride. But who do you guys think took the biggest jump overall? Like, as far as in the rotations. That's a tough one to think about. I mean, Stephen Mcbride is up there, but I mean, Tristan Golightly, what'd he play? 9 catches last year, and he's going to be our second best receiver as far as overall. I mean, dude jumped up huge. I think Tristan Golightly is an option there if you're going to look into it. DeKendrick Stearns is a big guy, and I mean, Jack Werner, who played last year, up to an 81. That's a good overall jump, I'd have to say. Yeah, let me know who you guys think took the most important jump for this team. Yeah, Butler, he didn't play at all last year, but, I mean, he didn't really need to. Redshirt freshman and all. 80 overall quarterback is pretty big, I have to say. And we're going to have to cut somebody, unfortunately. None of these guys, hopefully. We are 5 players over the top, or the limit. Derek Clark might get the cut, unfortunately. Or Ryan Hart, or somebody like that. We'll go through and see. How many right guards do we have? We only have 1 right guard, so we definitely can't cut any of them. Right tackle, we can't cut. Left end, we can't cut. Right end, we can't cut. Defensive tackle, okay, we'll gladly cut Brad Duckett. Gladly cut him. Jonathan Williams might have to go. We've got to cut 4 guys. It's going to be tough. And you've also got to think of the future. Justin Ralph, 55 overall. You can go. And anybody else down here that is cuttable? No. So, I feel bad about it considering we just signed him. But Jonathan Williams, got to go. And we've still got to cut 2 more. I really don't want to cut any of my receivers, or at least my younger receivers, because we're going to be losing all of these guys up here. So that makes me not want to cut him or cut any of those guys. I think we've got to cut one of these 2. You guys are going to have to help me decide. We'll look at their statistics right now. Both of them 67 overall, from Oklahoma. Ryan Hart slightly faster, while Johnson slightly stronger. Hart is way faster when it comes to acceleration. They're looking pretty similar as far as all of this stuff goes. Ryan Hart is much better at catching. Much better at catching. But where's the blocking? Let's see. Can I see pass block? Honestly, I think Kevin Johnson's got to be the guy to go. Who do you guys think should go? Kevin Johnson's a much worse receiver, and his blocking is not... 19 is good for impact blocking, but 66 pass blocking to 65 and 70 to 63. I just don't... Yeah, I agree with you, Mr. Graves. I think Ryan Hart is a much better option, or I'd say maybe a much more dynamic option. So, Kevin Johnson, I'm sorry, but you've got to go. And we can't cut Ron Burton because apparently we need to have 2 fullbacks. Never heard of that rule. Maybe we'll just cut Luke Grimm. Let's just cut our best player. All right, now Derek Clark is down here. Tempting to cut, but I just can't bring myself to cut him. Donnell Harris isn't an option at all. He is one of the fastest players on the team. Him and Majik Rector are undoubtedly the fastest. This is a tough decision to make. You guys see anybody on the roster that we should cut or could cut? I don't want to cut an O-lineman because Isaac Williams, he may be a bad overall, but we need the depth. Because offensive line is undoubtedly our least strong position. We have to cut 1 more guy. I'm not cutting an O-lineman. Don't really want to cut anybody there. Yeah, let's just cut Sean Johnson, the big 79 overall athlete we just brought in. We won't really need him too bad. Maybe Dennis Davis, 66 overall, defensive tackle. He's looking like the option because we need all these linebackers we can have. And Deuce Mayberry and all these guys are safe for sure. Yeah, it's going to have to be... where's he at? It's going to have to be Dennis Davis, unfortunately. Hurts to do it, but 70 players, got to be 70 players overall. And yeah, sorry, Dennis Davis. You just weren't cutting the team. Hopefully he can go play at some JUCO college for him. We are very close, though, now to being into the final part of the offseason. I believe custom conferences, and then we get into the actual offseason or preseason building stage, I believe. And like last time, I'm going to let you guys have a little bit of input. Yeah, Zaxby sponsored me. You guys go eat Zaxby's if you want some good food. But you're going to have to wait for 3 hours. Now I have the ability, I don't want to reset my skills, thankfully. So let's just go ahead. Custom conferences. We're going to stick to the same conferences. I'm pretty happy where we're at. And let's get straight into the preseason now. Last year, I think we moved Houston and, who else did we move? Houston and SMU, correct me if I'm wrong, into the Big 12. This year, we're staying the same. Maybe in the future, I'll experiment with maybe like a more geographical-based conference system. But for now, I'm perfectly fine sticking to the way it is, considering we haven't even made a championship game in our conference how it is now. And here we go. Recruiting and everything. Before we recruit or get into the preseason recruiting, here is our depth chart so far for the season. You guys probably have a good idea of what it's like. Maurice Butler right now over Conrad Hawley just based off of, I'd say overall wise. Devin Neal undoubtedly the starting running back, but hey, he could be contested by these guys. Will Huggins over there at fullback. Wide receivers, you've got Grimm, Golightly, Stephen McBride, James Smith, and Trevor Wilson. Tight ends, you've got Trevor Cardell, Sean Johnson, and they want Sean Johnson. No, Sean Johnson is not playing tight end for us. Instead, we will have our actual tight end play tight end. Ryan Hart would be the best bet. DeKendrick Stearns at a 78 overall left tackle. Left guard, we've got Jack Werner and Michael Ford behind him. David Lewis, 73 overall, as well as Michael Ford Jr. backing him up too. Corey Robinson there as well. Armaj Reed. Did they have Sean Johnson as a fullback? I did not see that. I'll have to go look at that and check it out because he's not playing at all this season. He's definitely getting... I'm not wasting a year of his eligibility as a tight end or fullback. Armaj Reed Adams, right guard with Michael Ford backing everyone up apparently. This is his actual position though. Bryce Cabaladu and Michael Ford Jr. Right tackle. Caleb Taylor and Demarion Alexander left end. Right end is going to be Stephen Parker and Demarion Alexander. Defensive tackle, you've got Keenan Caldwell. Demarion Alexander again, Zach Flint, and Maurice Johnson. So we don't have a lot of depth there, unfortunately. Left outside linebacker, you've got Krishan Brown, Trey Staley, and Romello Dotson. Middle linebacker is Wheeler, Staley, and Romello Dotson. Again, we don't want our cornerbacks playing, but apparently we have to, I guess. Apparently we only have like two linebackers. Do we not have any more linebackers than this? I mean, yeah, we obviously do. Yeah, Alonzo Person's down here. Let's see. Alonzo Person and Nate Smith is here as well. We'll put Alonzo Person in there because we really don't want our cornerbacks playing as linebackers. Alonzo Person is there. Cornerbacks, Deuce Mayberry, Jacoby Bryant, Romello Dotson, Donovan Gaines, and Cameron Dabney. I was going to say Chris Dabney. I don't know why. Free safety, Jean-Quay Lewis. Romello Dotson is there as well, but I don't really want him in there. We'd rather have our free safeties, I believe. But I think we only have 2 of them. No, we actually have 3. We have Kelly Skinnier or something from last year. Strong safety. Surprisingly, we don't want our cornerbacks playing strong safety either. I would rather have, let's bring O.J. Burrows in there as that third corner or third strong safety. Kicker is Jacob Borsia. Punter is Reese Vernon. Kick returner is going to be a big decision. 90 speed, 93 acceleration for Stephen McBride. Is there anybody else faster, though? Like, I mean, Donovan Gaines isn't really faster. James Smith is probably about the same. We'll probably stick with Stephen McBride on this occasion right now. How am I at Kansas or Air Force now? But I don't really want Luke Grimm or our starting receivers, honestly, returning kicks. So I'd prefer if we had somebody down here like a Majik Rector, who is extremely fast, as that kick returner or punt returner, because definitely don't want, we don't want Luke Grimm to get, it'd be terrible if he got injured as a kick returner. That would just be probably the worst way to have your receiver get injured, as I stumble through my words. And we'll go here. We'll quickly redshirt everybody that we need to, like Larry Johnson, clear redshirt there. Willie Allen is a clear redshirt here. Wide receivers, Sean Johnson we don't need, and both of you guys down here, clear red shirts. Tight ends, we'll need everybody. Offensive line, we need everybody, as my dog refuses to jump up on the bed, so I have to throw him through the flag. Dane Lewis. Hey, we have David Lewis and Dane Lewis. We'll redshirt him, but if an injury happens, he's coming out of that. We'll redshirt Daryl Fuller, but same thing as Dane Lewis. If we need him, we need him. Nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. I'm going to have to keep him in. I think we're not going to be able to redshirt any of our linebackers. Maybe Chris Mosley. Yeah, we can afford to redshirt Chris Mosley and Calvin Lane. Cornerbacks, nobody there. And I don't think we scouted any of these guys. So, nothing going on there as far as redshirting goes. And you guys want to do the schedule first or recruiting first? Or it's not really recruiting, but, initial adding prospects that are interested in us. I'll let you guys decide what we do first, because I want you guys to have a bit of an input in it at least. Before we do that, I'm actually going to go look in and see if they had Sean Johnson as the fullback. No, they don't. They probably did, but they removed him now that I redshirted him, so he's not in there anymore. But he probably was in there knowing this game. They probably had him in as the kicker, considering how good he was. Prospects first. Okay, we can do the recruiting first, and then we'll get into the if I could actually speak, we'll get into the schedule after that, and then it will be pretty much over for this live stream, except at least all the important stuff. Maybe we'll jump into a practice and see how everybody's doing. Look at numbers, all that stuff would be interesting to see. Recruiting board, though, I think we're going to have a lot of needs. And they're saying we don't need any receivers. So we have 4 freshmen, a sophomore, a junior. I guess not. That'd be 5, 6. Yeah, that'd be 6 receivers, and we're losing 5. I'm going to bring in some, honestly, just to be safe. But I guess you don't really need as many receivers as we have. So what they're really giving us is offensive linemen, which we knew, and we're going to have to replace both our kickers. It's going to be really, really interesting. We'll go with top school for now. Or no, we'll just go with any, and then we'll sort by who they have interested. If I could, actually submit this. Go over here. You guys know the drill if you were here for the last one. Go up here, and we have a few guys in here that look like pretty decent options. Lower overall. We really would be betting on this guy to be good. I like to do 5 of each position at least. But we can really only find a solid 4 for that. Go over here to kickers and punters. We really only need 1 of those, obviously. Anybody interested in us? Hey, Andrew Walker, 79 overall. That name sounds familiar to somebody out there. And punter. We definitely need to get a good punter in here. Chad Collins and Tom Jackson would be good guys to scout, I suppose. Before we really add anybody else, we'll go over here and we will scout these guys, considering we're able to scout them to 100. And let's see. Go to the guards. Let's see. Brett Mack goes down 2, but hey, 69 overall I'm good with. If we can get any of these guys to jump up, +5 there, +5 there. So fairly solid jump ups there. Andrew Walker goes up to an 80, or I guess really stays at an 80. Albert Webb, get out of here, bro. You're not in this anymore. Andrew Walker's undoubtedly the kicker that we want to go after. Chad Collins goes up 1, and Tom Jackson goes up 1. So they're both pretty solid punters to begin with, or at least as true freshmen, I'll say. Let's see. We'll go into team needs, and we'll just really scout for what maybe we need, or like positions that we're suffering at. Because, I mean, maybe offensive lineman would be the best place to go, or best place to look, like a center or a tackle. But for now, we'll just look at, unfortunately, we have no 4-stars looking at us, but we have a few guys that look interesting. TJ Allen, 65 overall. Cornerback Anthony Stallings. Receiver Ken Robinson. Mike Darby. And we'll go to positions, actually. I mean, do we really need to bring in another quarterback? I don't think so. But we'll just, I'm going to keep going down. We are 6th on this 4-star and 3rd on this 3-star, so that's a good start for us in both of those players categories. 2nd on this 4-star and 2nd on this 4-star is a big get. Tight end, we're set, if I'm going to be honest. Tackle would be a huge get. We'll add both of those guys. Guard, we obviously already went through that. Centers, nobody's interested at all. Nothing too crazy here. I mean, we've got a few second options there. Defensive tackle, 70 overall guy, a few 70 overall guys that would be interesting. Linebacker, nothing too crazy there. I'm interested to see if we have any athletes for us. Tom Dukes as well. What a name. That's a football name if I've ever heard one. We are in the running for this 4-star. Interesting to see where that goes. 2nd place for a 4-star strong safety. I'll take it. And athletes. Okay. You guys know I love my athletes. And having 3 of them with interest in us immediately, and we have extra points for all of them, that is a big way to start out this recruiting board. Peter Smith, running back, is okay. 74 overall. Not the fastest, not the slowest. Not as good as Willie Allen was. Terrence Bell stays the same. Anthony Stallings doesn't move. Hey, Ken Robinson, up to a 74. He's a gem. Ken Goodwin. I just realized we have 2 back-to-back Kens. Jason Higgins stays the same, unfortunately. We really need one of these tackles to jump up just like that and just like that. That is massive there for us. And because we're going to run out of points, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to scout our athletes. Hey, this guy only is 64, but he jumps up a lot. And please jump up too. Massive. We have to get all 3 of these guys on the team because athletes just, they're honestly the best part of this game in my opinion because they jump up and they're fairly consistently they jump up and they always have a good what should I say, a good array of skills, which is obviously why they're an athlete rather than any position. So yeah, that's a good starting recruiting class at least for now. Don't really plan on showing a ton of recruiting like I've done in the past few seasons. I haven't shown too much of it except for, when a guy commits or right at the beginning of the season. But for right now, they want us to play Memphis, Cincinnati, Rutgers, and no, I don't think I'm going to do that. Let's just set all these to open for now. If I can. I cannot. Okay, we'll open the season. Let's see if we can set a precedent and play the rivalry game against Missouri every season we can. And yeah, they're right here. So we'll have them in that week 2 matchup. We can set this to open. And who do I want to play? I don't really want to play Rutgers. I don't want to play a very soft team like Akron. I mean, we've played Charlotte before, but we could open the season maybe like at a tough matchup against Arizona State. Do you guys think we should go with a top 25 team to open the season, or do you think we should go kind of easier to open the season? I mean, we did easier last year, I thought, but we lost to Nebraska. And if I do a top 25 team, it's definitely not going to be... I mean, we played East Carolina in our first year. We could play them again. I'm going to get you guys a few options here, and I'll see who you guys want to choose from, or who you guys would want to choose. We could play South Carolina, who offered me a job. Let's see. I would honestly probably say out of East Carolina or Arizona State, or East Carolina, Arizona State, or like Texas A&M, or maybe like a Utah State or something. Who do you guys think we should play in that first week? Because that would be interesting to play one of those teams. I'll let you guys respond to that in the, I'll just put them in there as a filler. I'll let you guys respond to that whenever you guys get to it. We do close out against Kansas State again. So yeah, everything down here is basically the same. We have a very generous start to the season with SMU and Houston. And maybe like East Carolina right here before we get into conference play. I don't know if I'd want to do that. Kind of want to go like, let's see, we'll go like bye week. We'll go 2 games to start the season, bye week, and then we have like we could play Charlotte again, and then go in here, have a bye week, and start our conference play. Yeah, I mean, Arizona State's obviously like, Mr. Graves, I agree, one of those 2 teams. Arizona State's a lot better than East Carolina, and I want to see what this team can do. I don't think we're ready to start the season off like that with a top 10 or 15 team, so I definitely agree with you. I think we'll go with Arizona State to get that strength of schedule up. We'll have that matchup at Arizona State, obviously. Then, we have a Missouri team that it's a rivalry game. Anything can happen. Bye week, go in and play Charlotte at their stadium, so we have another away game. Then we have another bye week before conference play. Then we have home game, away, home game, away, home game, away, home game, away, and away. So, man, I might change. I think I'm going to change this to a home game, maybe. Because that's a lot of away. Well, let's see. We'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, this keeps it even. 6 home games, 6 away games, and I think we'll keep it that way with that matchup against Charlotte being in Kansas, because we went to their stadium last year and the year before, and I think maybe it's time we play them at home. And Arizona State to start the season, gonna be a tough matchup for sure, and we are ready now to move into officially our 3rd season in this Kansas Dynasty. Before I do that, let's see if I can... No, I can't actually. We already simulated past the statistics saving period. Let's go into this 3rd season. Drop your record predictions already. What do you guys think we'll do this year? If I had to guess, I'm going to say 8-4. I'm going to go with a safe but promising guess with the 8-4 there. And we'll jump into a practice for a few minutes just to look at everybody's number, look at all the new players. And then we'll wrap up the live stream. Thank you to everybody that's already joined us. If you want to go ahead and head out now. It's been an hour and a half. I completely understand, but I just want to thank you guys for joining us. We've had 14 views so far. Probably a few of the same people, but hey, I mean, I'm not going to complain. It's a lot of views for me. And here we are getting into the regular season. Sponsored by Zaxby's. Not really, but maybe one day. Definitely a much better offseason than what we had in the past. Let's see if I can actually... Yeah, I mean, I could see 9-3 being a realistic thing to guess. I would say, because we're not that bad of a team, but you never know. I mean, we got a preseason All-American, preseason All-Conference, so that's a plus right there. I wonder who those players are. We'll go over here and actually see. Preseason All-Americans was it Sean Johnson? No, it was on the defensive side of the ball. Keenan Caldwell, he definitely deserves that. Do we have a second team maybe? Let's see what we have in the Big 12. Keenan Caldwell and Cornell Wheeler, second team maybe. We have Luke Grimm up there and a few more guys. Didn't expect this many guys. Caleb Taylor and Romello Dotson and Jacoby Bryant. So a few guys on the All-American teams. And yeah, Mr. Graves, I definitely agree. If you have a question about any part of this team, it's going to be who the starting quarterback is, because it's not settled at all. Conrad Hawley, he played good last year, but he did have his moments where he was really shaky. And I just realized we scheduled the team that has the #1 Heisman favorite right now. Oh, that's going to be a fun team to play, I guess. Preseason polls, are we even close maybe? Let's see where we're at. After 7-6, I mean, I would have guessed we're kind of up there. Oh, I thought we were right here. How is Kansas State above us? But Kansas, 47. Big jump up from last year. So I'll take it. Conference outlook, I think they would predict us a little higher this year than they have. They are predicting us to finish last in the division. 9th overall, so they're projecting us to get worse, even though we got better in every aspect pretty much. We're now at 88 all around, defense, offense, and overall. And yeah, let's look at the practice for a little bit and just look at a few players, and then we'll be out of here. I want to say, yeah, let's keep it clear. Don't want reindeer in practice or anything. And we're going to look at a few quarterback situations. And we're going to look at everything. Maybe Ben Easters gets the start. I highly doubt it, but maybe. You never know. He could come in and absolutely surprise us. And if you see me looking over that way, the TV is over there, and the lag's much worse on the TV. But I'm going to try and do it on my computer so I can keep looking straight forward. But this thing would ever load. Apparently it doesn't want to load quickly. I mean, I won't lie, this 360 is super old. But let's go ahead and we'll get into this. And we're just gonna look at a few plays that I like to run and see how they can run it. You guys know the plays I like to run. You probably see them a lot in the games. We'll just go with the typical 2-man under. And here is our first look at Maurice Butler on an NCAA field. First pass of the season, and practice is intercepted. But that was my bad completely. Terrible pass there. And he really doesn't feel that fast, though. But he's got a nice arm, I have to admit, as Stephen Mcbride gets hit real hard there. He doesn't feel as fast as Conrad Hawley, if I'm going to be honest. I don't think maybe he has that acceleration that Conrad Hawley has, but he just has a much better arm, and he has overall just better statistics, I would say. He got sacked there, but that was my bad. Let's see what we can do with a play action for Maurice Butler. So he's going to fake it, and nobody's open downfield, not even trying to get open. I just tried to throw that one away. Stick with this play, though. We've tried to get it into the slants or into the flats with him, but he's really not budging on that route. And let's see if he can outrun this lineman. He can't. So, interesting to see. He's not fast enough to outrun the lineman, but he just has a bullet for an arm. I mean, it gets intercepted, but I guess doesn't matter if you look impressive. We'll go back to this play again. Try and get them off sides real quick. See if we can get a nice little dump down. Defense looks good is one thing I'll say. That is the main thing I've noticed. Defense looks really good. And what kind of throw was that? And just a few passes from everybody here. And I think we're ready to see Conrad Hawley for the second time his second season as a part of the Jayhawks. And instantly he just feels fast. He just feels faster than Maurice Butler. I can tell he's not statistically faster, but he just feels faster. And I mean, not a great pass there, but let's see what the run game can get into with this blocking. Our O-line is going to struggle again, I'd imagine, but they could have some good games and some bad games like they did last year. Conrad Hawley not looking the greatest. I mean, not as bad as Maurice Butler did, but can I change the play? Yeah, let's do new play. And we'll see what he can do with this new play we choose. We're going to go with the simple slant play. I like to call slants. They're pretty OP sometimes in games, or mostly in football games. Usually they're OP no matter what you do, and they can't be guarded. And I mean, Maurice Butler and Conrad Hawley have to be able to complete these type of passes. I just don't know what the option or what the decision or right decision, I guess I'll say, is, because there's definitely an argument for both of them. And honestly, I'm probably not going to know who the starting quarterback is until I go into the first game. Biggest thing I say is I don't want Maurice Butler to transfer. And if we don't play an 80 overall quarterback as Conrad Hawley slings that one into the air, nowhere near a receiver. If we're not playing an 80 overall quarterback, I have a feeling he's going to transfer. That's the crazy part about this game. If they don't play, they're transferring. And I just really wouldn't want to lose out on an opportunity of a guy like that. But, I mean, maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing if Conrad Hawley can get us the wins we need. And the only thing he really has going for him is probably Coach Smeems and supporting him and his experience, if I had to say anything. And, yeah, it doesn't really look like there's a lot of differences between them as we try a running play that's pretty successful there. Devin Neal is able to get it up the middle, and Conrad Hawley gets it to Stephen Mcbride. So, yeah, just a little practice there to show off the new guy on the team, Maurice Butler. Well, he's not new, but you guys know what I mean. The newest player in the lineup, and show off his number 15. I kind of dig number 15 for him. It's a nice number. And as we are wrapping up this live stream, Arizona State, number 25, opening day at Arizona State for the Jayhawks in Season 3. You guys can predict right now what the score is going to be for that game, but I'm excited for Season 3. Hope you guys are excited for Season 3 too. Thank you so much for joining me in this live stream. If you did enjoy it, make sure to hit the like button. If you joined us and you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button as well, because I mean, it helps me so much when you guys hit that subscribe button. You know, it's a great feeling, and it also shows me that you guys are enjoying the content I make, because I enjoy making the games and playing this realistic or simulation sports style of videos. And on top of that, before we end this, I do want to shout out a little organization or group that I formed with another YouTuber, Joshua Huskers. We formed the Sim Sports Alliance. The links to the social media may be in the description. I don't know if I added them from last time whenever I streamed, but they should be down there. If they're not, I'll add them in afterwards, or I'll post. You guys can go back to a previous video and find them there. But we're forming a group, really, or a community for realistic simulation football. And, you know, YouTube can be really hard to get your work out there, especially starting off from nothing. So it's great to have a group of fellow common YouTubers or just common friends and subscribers and stuff that all enjoy content. So go check out our Instagram and our Twitter. We don't post every day, but, I mean, we post occasionally on there. And if you're interested in joining or supporting by shouting out and stuff like that, the Sim Sports Alliance or our channels, check out his channel and check out my channel and the Sim Sports Alliance Instagram and Twitter pages, as I said. Thank you guys for joining me for this live stream. I had a blast. I felt a lot more comfortable than the last one, even though I stuttered a little bit through the beginning. What are you going to do about that? Next video might be out by Monday if I have a chance to record it, but most likely we're going to be starting up the third season on Thursday, and then, you know, Monday, Tuesday, or Monday and Thursday going forward after that. It's a little hard sometimes with this live stream to get it to fall on a day where a video would come out. So that's the main problem I have there. Thank you guys for watching this live stream and joining me throughout the whole thing. It was a blast. Can't wait to do it again. Maybe we'll do it a little bit more frequently and live stream other sports games and stuff like that. So thank you guys for joining me on this live stream. Fortnite Season 2, I don't know about that one, but maybe we'll hit that one up. It's not really fitting in with the, what should I say, with my simulation sports style channel, but it could fit in. I don't know if I'll do that as my YouTube page wants to glitch. If I could just edit to, let's see, I want to be able to see, yeah, live chat replay is there, so they do save that. Okay, nice. I wanted to make sure the live chat saves for anybody if they go back in and watch the live stream. But yeah, I think that's about where we're going to end this. I'll see you guys on the next video, or talk to you guys on the next video. Obviously, I won't see you, but maybe next live stream we'll see each other. And thank you guys for joining me on this live stream. Hit that like button, as I said, and I'll see you guys